with me. I did, however, talk to 3 individuals that told me what I have told you about seeing the earth-moving equipment and so forth. The metal was then, I told Dr. Wolf about the metal, and I told him, I said, I don't have anybody that I can trust to leave a sample with. So Dr. Wolf took it to 4 independent labs. The metal was 99% silicon, and they didn't know what the other part of it was. It appeared to be cold fusion in nature. The metal was 8 inches in diameter and 6 inches thick. We took and you couldn't take a torch and cut the metal with, but you could take a hammer and, smash little slivers off of it. And we took the hottest cutting torch that we could get, which was a plasma torch, and you couldn't even touch it with the cutting torch. But the thing of it was, just after you shut the cutting torch off, the metal would cool down and dissipate, just like anything that I had ever seen to that date.
When you turn the torch off, how long before you could touch it with your finger?
Just a couple seconds. Just a couple seconds. And there were other things that we found out later that the metal did. Do we need to take a break yet, or?
We're coming up on it. We've got about 30 seconds here.
Okay, and then we'll go on the other side of this. We found out, Dr. Wolf did, by experimenting with it, that he could put this metal in water and drink off of it like an elixir. Now, that sounds crazy. Now, I want to tell you that it works. Dr. Wolf was in remission of cancer for the 9th time by drinking some of this elixir. It also would take headaches away, and it was a great meditation tool. So it had extra, extra purposes to it, and I've still not today found all the purposes of it.
All right, now it's 8 inches by 6 inches, right? And
8 inches around and 6 inches thick.
Okay, and what is it? A shaped like a small brick or a cone?
Yeah, it's kind of a jagged-looking thing. The interesting thing, I tried to take pictures of it, and for some reason, it is so shiny that you can't take a picture of it. Now, that really threw me for a loop. And when I videotape it, I can get it, but it looks different.
All right, let's take a break. Those of you who have to leave us, we understand. Those of you who can, hang in there. We're going to continue for the next few minutes talking with Dick Criswell, and we'll be back right after this break. And welcome back. My guest is Dick Criswell. He has very graciously agreed to stay over with us just a few minutes and give us this information about the metal that he found in investigating a UFO crash near Muncie, Indiana. Now, this was back in the 80s, about 1989, I think you said?
That's correct.
In investigating this crash, did you get any information from witnesses that saw the craft? Did they describe it for you?
They said it was circular in nature. They said it came down, just looked like something had shot it down, or it was experiencing some kind of mechanical problem, which I find hard to believe. Of course, Close Encounters was the movie was based there, kind of in Muncie when they had the little kid that was abducted from there.
What was the real story? I mean, we know about Close Encounters, but what's the real story from Muncie?
What you mean
about the kid? What's that story?
That was based on a true story. I could never trace the actual things down. Now I was given a couple things to check out, and I had asked Dr. Wolf, and he said, "Well, that was close to the thing. There were a few things that were out of place there." But I guess when Steven Spielberg made the movie, he kind of winked at the president at that time and said, "If they only knew."
Well, see, now, that's something we've discussed a lot here on this show, is when we look at and we talked about it a little bit tonight with the X-Files, but with the X-Files, with Star Trek, with Star Wars, 2001, A Space Odyssey. We're a lot of us have been very suspicious that we're looking at a lot of real information, and you've confirmed that for us tonight. But the question now is, where did they get it? Who sat down with Spielberg? Who sat down with Lucas and gave them this information about the real story?
Well, I really don't know this to be a fact. It was really never that part of it was never given to me. Okay, it was my conjecture. You probably heard the stories about Lawrence Rockefeller and so forth. He was backing a lot of programs to bring this UFO subject forward. I mean, it was no big secret that Lawrence Rockefeller had financed a lot of these researchers. Not me in particular, but he was financing a lot, and I just kind of conjectured, and like I said, this is my opinion, that he probably sat down with some of these movie directors and said, how about doing this so that we, when we release this information, it won't be such a shock.
Well, and then the follow-on to that is a movie called Mission to Mars, and you're familiar with that. Gary Sinise was in that. He was one of the stars of that, and the astronauts are actually mounting a rescue mission to a small base that we had established there. What they discover is that the face on Mars is very real, very artificial, and they actually go inside it. Let's talk about the face on Mars a little bit. What do you know about that?
I know that it exists, that NASA has lied about it. I think Richard will confirm that. They were really not happy with Richard at first. I'm talking about some government officials, and still not happy with him.
You're talking about Richard Hoagland.
Richard Hoagland, correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're still not happy with him, and after I seen his latest DVD, they're not going to really be happy with him at all, because he had a guy that looked at the airbrushings of the different things on the moon and so forth.
Yeah. Now, when we look at that face on Mars, I mean, are you saying that from your information that the face on Mars is artificial?
No, it is not. Okay. It was done for a reason. I think that it was done like a Sphinx, a pyramid, something like that.
That's what I mean by artificial. In other words, instead of saying man-made, but it was created. It was not something that is done by geology.
That's correct. It's not trick and light or shadow or anything like that.
Okay. Now, who built that? I mean, was there a civilization living there?